The last thing I want to say is that I know that there's people in the audience who are not necessarily a member of a local organization. There's maybe not one in your area, or you're just not a member. This isn't just a UAUS thing, or a UAI thing. This is something that we're trying to lead with. If you want to help us, please do. Listing local study groups in your area isn't something that just a USUA member has to do. If you want to help, come and help us. If you want to help with gathering memberships or helping with the conferences, we're always looking for volunteers. Decisions are made by the people who show up, is the quote that someone really famous said once. So, that's what we're asking for.
And you should see some of these people that show up.
Yeah.
So if you don't want your life in their hands, then you need to volunteer.
I am the secretary for the UAUS, which means I am apparently the secret keeper. And what I've taken that to mean is I kind of know now all the secrets and the places and the tricks that all these things are kept. If you have questions, come and talk to me. I hopefully have the answer, or can at least point you to the person with the answer. I have a laptop. If you want help with anything online here, I can help. And yes, this is an open discussion, so yes.
Would you share your email address?
Oh, yes. All right, so I should admit first that when I was a junior in high school, email was first coming out, and we could pick any email address we ever wanted. So my favorite movie at the time was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and when they're playing, they do their rock band, and he would introduce himself as Bill S. Preston Esquire, and the other guy was Ted Theodore Logan. So anyway, my email address that I've had forever and probably will never change, despite how many times I've tried, but people refuse to stop writing me there, is CW, Chris Wood, CW Esquire, ESQUIRE, @hotmail.com.
You need a lot of green to go with that.
Yeah, well, that's, wow. Yes.
Jan Bernard had a beautiful thought, a wonderful idea, that we could, in each workshop this morning, put out a sheet of paper. And if any one of you who are hosting or involved in a study group, wherever you hail from, write down your area, the name of the host, the day and the time.
Yes.
And the contact information.
And the contact information, yeah.
Yes, and we'll give it all to Chris and see what it's a great time.
Martin.
We have a wonderful, wonderful human being, Bobby Breyer, many of you know her at the fellowship end, who has put in a good couple of years of dedicated service on exactly this project at the fellowship's end. And our criteria for study group is exactly the same as yours, soul study of the Urantia book. And so my question is, to what extent can we partner and join forces to serve readers of the Revelation, to get them to good study groups and keep good study groups up to date and functioning?
And I think that this is my hope, as who I am, is that these sort of things is something that everyone can get behind. We all want to help serve, and that it doesn't matter who you belong to, getting the work done at this point. I know Bobby's been doing this work. When I work at the foundation, she's been helping us update the foundation's contact list and our study group lists. So yes, we're hoping that this can become a great master list. We just want the work done. It doesn't matter who's necessarily doing it.
Chris?
But we want to make sure.
Chris?
Yes.
On that point, this seems really important to me, and probably to a lot of us. The scenario of getting together and putting our differences aside for the ultimate good of this project. When I went to the foundation after getting my Urantia book and reading it, I wanted to know who wrote it. Who wrote this? So, like the big Pollock that I am, I knocked on the door. 533 Diversity Parkway, it's on the book. And I was received by a secretary. I don't remember. And I said, I'd like to meet who wrote this. And secretary essentially said, well, who are you? Well, Bernie Belarski. And you realize you need an appointment to see anyone here. And I said, no, I just want to know who wrote it. And she says, well, you have to have an appointment. So here I thought, you know, here's this big, great author behind those doors somewhere. But you got to go through the sequence of events to see him. So I left there in 1977 with the feeling, you know what, this book is better than what's going on over there anyway. And I left. And I never returned until just recent times. So an attitude that I feel is throughout the organization is that there's a division going on, and somehow that needs to go away. That's all I wanted to say.
I personally, completely agree. I think that there are people who, I agree. We need to work together towards a goal. One of the ways I think this can be accomplished, and now I'm kind of almost, up here talking off subject, but it's what we want to do with this database is make sure that it's many people contributing to it, that it's not just one person who is in charge of the list, because in the past we've tried that as organizations, and when that one person dies or drops off the face of the earth, then that project just goes away. If you study the history of the Urantia community for the last 50 years, you'll find dozens, if not hundreds, of projects that were great and have been repeated over and over again, and that they failed because the one or two people who have been behind it suddenly drop off. So what we want to do with this list is make sure that it is many people contributing, that it's not just the same people from contributing year and year and year, so that in the future, this can continue. We don't want this to be a fly-by-night thing. We want 10 years from now for this to be continuing.